Hello, friends. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe. Welcome to La Femme en Bleu. I have a little friend with me here, but I think he's kind of shy, so he doesn't want to face the camera. But anyway, wanted to share with you a story that my 7-year-old shared with me the other day, and I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, so a couple of days before Valentine's Day, he said that he had asked a little girl to be his Valentine's, and she said yes. So a couple of days later, he said that this little girl named Maya had asked him to be her Valentine's. And I was like, well, what did you say? Because I thought you had asked someone else to be your Valentine's. And he said, well, I said yes. I said, well, what are you going to do with the other little girl? He said, I didn't want to tell her because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. And then I said, well, you're going to have two Valentines? He said, no. Maya went to her and told her. And I said, well, what did she do? He said, she looked like she was mad. And then she put her hands on her face. She wasn't happy. I said, well, maybe you should have told Maya that you had a Valentine's before, and that if she wanted to be a Valentine's, then you would have to have both. She said, well, I did tell Maya, and Maya said, you cannot have two Valentines. You can only have one. I thought that was hilarious. I said, well, you have to understand if you ask someone to do something and they say yes, you cannot go back to them and say something differently. You have to be a person of your word because you had asked her to be your Valentine's a few days before Maya came to ask you. So I said, you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I said, next time, make sure if you ask someone to be a Valentine's, you have to tell the next person that comes to you and asks you, say, yes, I already have a Valentine's. I cannot have two. So I thought it was such a cute story. But anyway, just wanted to bring a little laughter to your day. Hopefully, you find that to be a little bit hilarious. Um, but it's I love these stories because sometimes I say to myself, I really wish I had a camera rolling in the car when I'm dropping him off, when I'm picking him up, because these stories are priceless. And for me to share the story, it's taking away from the humor side of it, because the way he shares it is just hilarious. But anyway, another story that I want to share, it's along the same line of keeping your word, or having someone rely on your character or the person that you are. So what happened was, I picked up my son from school and I was rushing. I had a pretty busy week, and I said, we got to pick up flowers for grandma. It's Valentine's Day. It's either I send the flowers or I pick them up. This time, I was so exhausted. I'm like, I'm just going to get to the house. Maybe we can, excuse me, maybe we can put together a little gift bag for her, because my son had so many things from the school that the kids had given him. And including this little girl, Maya, she had created a little special bag for him. And so even the kids were asking, well, how come you have an extra bag? And he was like, well, Maya was my Valentine's. And I thought that was really sweet, because when I picked him up, to be honest, not to digress here, when I picked him up, he showed me who Maya was. And I was like, wait a minute, that was the same little girl that you said who kept on picking on you. So apparently, when they do like you, they do pick on you. And I do remember that in elementary, or Yeah, pretty much in elementary, if someone likes you, they pick on you so much that you think they really don't like you, but they do, So anyway, it's the same thing now. It doesn't matter, right? Years later, the kids still do the same thing. But anyway, so when we made it to grandma's, I didn't have any flowers. And I was like, well, let's put a bag together for her. Let's put little things here and there. Let's say, excuse me, again, I'm yawning, forgive me. And say Happy Valentine's Day. And lo and behold, she said, you know, it's so funny. The one day that I told Grandpa, my dad, to not get me any flowers because she said, I know that my daughters bring me flowers. And she said, the one day that she was telling him, she was like, no, no need to get me flowers because I'm going to have flowers for my daughter. Um, I didn't bring any flowers. I was devastated. I was like, what? I'm like, this woman knows me by my pattern for years. I've never failed. I've always brought flowers to her or sent flowers. And so she was like, the one time that she told my dad not to even bother get flowers, I didn't bring any flowers. I was like, you know what, Mom? This will never happen again. You're right. I am known by what I do, by my pattern. She knows who I am, where my heart is, and she was relying on that. I said, you know what? I'm a firm believer that it's not when you die people should bring you flowers, it's why you're alive. So I went to the store and got her flowers. That's it. I mean, I don't want to break the cycle because that's what she knows me by. She knows me by what I do. And I've always been consistent. The one time that I was feeling exhausted and I didn't want to go to the store, that was the one time that she told my dad not to bring her flowers. And I was not going to have this lady not have flowers ever. So I said, you know what, Mom? I'm so sorry. You're right. So I'm going to make it up to her again and I'm going to get her flowers. I think maybe, in a week or so and then kind of be a little bit more consistent, not just on holidays or on her birthdays, but just, sporadically just bring her flowers just because. So that I thought that was really, really important. And I really like the fact that she reminded me of that because at the end of the day, people know you by what you do and what you say, nothing else. That's what she knows. So it's my pattern, and so she was relying on the pattern that has never changed for years. So I'm saying all that to say, whomever you have in your life, make sure you are consistent with what you do. Make sure you keep your word, be a person of your word, so that they can rely on you, really. Because I want to be relied on, because at the end of the day, I want what I do matter. I want what I do to have significance. And so whatever I do has to matter to those around me. So, so I think I said that correctly. I want what I do matter. It sounds weird though. Anyway, but I do want what I do and say to have significance in those that I love, in their lives. So I want to make sure that I'm always going to be someone. When I say something, I do it, and that's it. Because there's nothing else that they're going to be able to rely on other than what you bring to them. All right, so keep that in mind, friends. Do what you say you're going to do, and be a person of character, and and make sure you're consistent in what you say. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you here soon. Okay. Thank you for watching La Femme en Bleu, and please don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe, please. All right. Take care, you guys. Be good.